Justin saying yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Community Advisory Board CAB for the 8109 Public Realignment General Body Meeting. I just want to kind of make a note that we are ready to start, but we are waiting on one more committee members who may set individual walk in a few seconds. So today's date is February 13th. We will call the meeting to order. So we are going to first start off with our regular meeting norms, going over who we are and our purpose. So who we are the Community Advisory Board CAB on the Public Safety Realignment, which was established by the Community Correction Partnership, CCP, Executive Committee to provide input on community needs. Our purpose is to provide input and feedback to the county on 81 alignment, realignment implementation. As a committee, we advise the county considerations of the role, scope, and impact of our criminal justice system on individuals or family, excuse me, and our local community by providing input on community needs, assess the implementation of 8109 public safety realignment implementation, review Sorry about that, everyone, because we're having technical issues, technical difficulties. I will not be starting from scratch, so I'm going to pick up where I left off. I was just going over our purpose. So I'm now going to go into some housekeeping rules and some items here. So for those in the room and on Zoom on how to provide public comment. For those in public, please keep your participation on mute. And for those on your phone, please use *6 to mute and unmute. We're hear from comments first from our board members, and then we usually go from those in the room, and then we go to those in Zoom. Okay. So we're going to jump right into our agenda. Our first agenda item is roll call and introductions. So I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Nicole Green. I am the chair for the Community Advisory Board, and I cover East County. And good morning, Demetria Lawrence, East County.
Good morning, Melinda Hughes, West County.
Good morning, Reverend Alexandria, Central County.
Good morning, Brendan Lee, West County.
Justin Van Zerber, West.
Tracy Simpson, Central County.
And Kimmy, do we have to do anything else?
No, we have a quorum.
All right. So we will now go into the next agenda item, which is public comment on any items under the jurisdiction of the committee and not on this agenda. So I do have a few, and I apologize because it came after we did our agenda planning. So I do want to give you an update on the 8109 retreat. So we had a meeting on February the 4th at 12 o'clock, and the potential summit date, not retreat, excuse me, 8109 summit, forgive me. The potential summit date is April 16, 2025, 10 to 2. So while I'm bringing this back here, is I know that we have other members. I wanted to ask you all and each one of your committees to please ask us as they talk. I know policy and budget doesn't really need to, but OCEC and program services, I will join in your meetings as a follow-up on Zoom, kind of going into more detail. I did have the chair of all committees join me on that particular meeting as well. But I want to kind of give you an update as quickly as I can. It's not an agenda item, and I'm going to ask Ariana to add it to our marks so we can dive into it. 3 members drop off the last year, we asked Santa Clara County to do it. It took a little shift. So my goal is I really want to talk to you all and get an idea of how involved we want to be and what we want to do. So what Santa Clara County wants to do is they want to do some kind of inter-county connection where we're sharing information, we're sharing resources in case there's someone in their county that, for example, may have called a case over there, but they reside in Contra Costa County and they want to come back home. How do we do that? So they're hoping at their summit that they can get, it's very small right now, but they're hoping that eventually more counties will be involved. They're asking for each county to provide a list of services. We already have our AB 109 list. And a list of any other services within the county that the justice involved can touch or be connected to. And they're also thinking about possibly having quarterly meetings. So it kind of, I mean, it's a great idea, but there's a lot of work, but it pivoted from what we're going to do, what we decided to do, because once Santa Clara finishes, it does come back to us because we started. So I wanted to pin that out there to say, what is it that we want to do in Contra Costa County? Is this something that we want to continue to uplift that part of it, or when we get it back, is it going to turn back to the network? So I want to think about that when it comes up to your meetings. Also, knowing what they're asking for, do we feel like it's feasible? Right now, we do have our spreadsheet with our CBOs. The most that, I don't want to bite off too much that I can take, the most that I can do is add other county programs in the contact, but not really dig too deep in and create this long spreadsheet. So how are we going to do that? Who's going to be responsible? So I wanted to give you guys that update. Again, the reason why I wanted to bring it back to OCEC is because that's where I started and that's outreach. So I wanted their input on how we can do that, and then programs and services because that's their wheelhouse. Does that make sense? I'm looking at your face.
Oh, my face.
Yeah.
Dang, she went so fast.
Oh, tell me to slow down. Tell me to slow down.
My brain was trying to process and listen to see if you were gonna say it again, right, so let you finish.
Okay.
But so I have, so they want, just.
I don't mind. I don't mind to repeat because I will go fast. Do a little church hand if I'm speaking. That's
That's all right. So clarifying question. You wanted to know how, if you want to be involved, I want to be sure I have it. And you said knowing what they're asking. They're asking us to join with them to
Want me to repeat it?
this service, yes.
So what they're asking for us to do, what Santa Clara would like to do is create an inter-county process for those that are justice involved. And so out of that, to start that off, for this summit, they're asking for us to create a spreadsheet, or not just us, all counties, of services within their counties. So reentry services, which we already have, our AB 109 list, and any other community program. So for example, Santa Clara said they also have continuing care. We have continuing care. So there's that information on there. What I asked them to do is they need to break down who they want to take it. When you say services, are you talking about behavioral health? Are you talking about housing? Like, who are you talking about? Because every county is different. Definitely we can inform our CBOs, but if you want to connect like AOD, right, or behavioral health, what type of people are you seeing and who do you want that? So that's what I charge them with. Tell me what you want. Because what we can do, we're only in charge of April 9. So we can notify our CBOs, we can give you our CBO list. If you would like other partners to be there, the most that we can do is notify them of the event, but I can't make them go. But I need for you to tell me what you want. Maybe they want the colleges. Identify what it is that you want here. So I'm hoping that I get that back. But if you want what they're asking for, that is out of our scope where we started. That's not what Contra Costa County has started. We just wanted to create an AB 109 summit to connect with other CABs and other counties and learn from each other. So what I'm asking is for this year, of course, we're going to do this, what they're asking, because they're the ones doing posting. But when we get it back, do we want to continue doing that? Or do we want to pivot back to our network? Or do we want to change the whole thing? And we don't have to do it every year.
When we get it back, as in.
Next year. Yeah. So when it originally started here, so after Santa Clara County's done, then it will be up to us to decide, okay, who's doing it the next year. But again, our whole goal was not the same as theirs. So I just wanted to make sure that I bring everybody to speed exactly what the AB 109 summit was. And that is not on your agendas for programs and services and OCEC, but I will bring it back up there and I would like to add it to your agenda so that we can kind of fine this out. So I just wanted to give you guys, you, the team, everyone an update, because I told them I'm going to bring this back to the full board because it's a full board decision, not the co decision. And I don't want to bite on more than I can take. So if we feel like that's not something that we want to charge ourselves with anymore, and it's not our value and goals, it's not our value and goal. Okay? I know that was a long public comment, but I have two more. The other public comment I have is, I was invited to a housing conference in Sacramento by Home Base to present there on behalf of CAB, so I'll be going to represent you all to kind of talk about, as well as my lived experience working with the housing. So they would like for us to come talk about, CAB, what we do, who we are, how we allocate the $15 million, and then give my expertise from being, a housing provider. So I want to let you guys know that I will be going to that on March 2nd.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And LA will be there, so I'm excited because I was able to come. I want to bring back what I've learned, especially I was hearing some of the services and just what some of the other cities and things we're doing. So I'm excited to kind of bring, I'm like a kid right now. I'm excited to bring that back to you all. And the last one, and I'll stop talking to share everybody else. Mariana's not here, but we never told you, CAB was, put in the RC letter. I think it was December. I don't know if everyone had a chance to see it, so we actually got published in it. So I wanted to pass it around so that we all can actually see. Originally it was supposed to be Ozzy and Rita Moore. Ozzy stepped down. And they talked about what CAP did. So I'm going to ensure that you all seen that. I didn't have a chance to tell you guys about it, and we were going to actually build copies of it, but I printed off the bench. Yeah, so the interest assessment of the newsletter, their voices, yeah. So this actually got passed out within the jail facilities. And the funny part about it was I got notified about it because one of my participants told me I was famous and I had no idea. So I just wanted to share and this is something to think about if we want to do it, what do we want to put in there? We want to put some CAD stuff in there. What do we want to put going forward? And I'm pretty sure that I don't think RSC would have a problem with us putting information into there. So those are my public Ranges Assessment. RSC. Sorry about the acronyms. So those are my public comments. Are there any other public comments in the room? And are there any public comments on Zoom? Seeing none. All right. And before I move on, as I mentioned, we were going to have another CAP member join momentarily, so I just want to take a moment to allow.
Laura Burrows, front Oh, he's counting.
He's counting. He said that too. Okay. All right. So we will move on to our next agenda item, which is consider approving the record of action from January 25th, 2025 CAB general meeting. It should be in the attachments. We'll just take a moment to review, and then I will be looking for a motion and a second.
I'm motion to approve the minutes from the retreat.
So yeah, Justin has a second and Tracy, I'm sorry, Justin has a motion and Tracy has a second.
Nicole,
Aye.
Brenda,
Aye.
Justin,
Aye.
Tracy, Demetria,
Aye.
Yolanda, Alexandria,
Aye.
and Gloria.
Motion carries.
Thank you. So we're now going to move to our next agenda item, which is the debrief of Community Advisory Board retreat. And it's going to go hand in hand with number 5, which is discuss Community Advisory Board priorities for 2025. So what I wanted to do for our very first meeting, is because some of us have not had our committee meeting yet, which is amazing. I wanted to kind of get the tone set out, like talk about what we did at our retreat, open up for us to kind of discuss anything that may have come up to you after the fact, and just kind of have that open discussion, and then kind of go into our priorities and really set the tone for 2025 and help you guys when you go into your first meeting. So as I said, when you got here today, if you're not awake, I want you to wake up because I have questions to get your blood kind of going, and hopefully we can have like a discussion. So and from the retreat, I wanted to kind of do like a reflection, look at like how effective it was, and kind of give some feedback. So first I want to start off with a reflection from the retreat, really looking at our key takeaways. What did you find valuable, insightful? Was there anything unclear or concerning that came up to you afterward? Because a lot of that we've got time now to kind of sit with it with our binder. And then how do you feel about the direction and the priorities that we set that we'll talk about that's up there right now in a second? So I just wanted to kind of go around the room. I'll start off as chair. For myself, it allowed me to kind of sit back and align what I hope we can achieve for 2025 and have that discussion with you all. I also wanted to acknowledge all of the great work that CAB as a whole has done in the past couple of years. Because the retreat made me really sit in it for a second, because we never took time to stop because we've been on go all the time. For me, I really want to uplift this committee to know that you guys all play a significant role. We have a table full of people with a lot of experience and ideas, and encourage you all to don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to question any of the previous work that we've done. Don't be afraid to bring up ideas. We really need to look at the work that we have done in the past. Decide, is it still measurable? Is that our goals for 2025 and what we want to do? As you go into your committees, and Justin did a great job. As you go into your committee, really look at what the previous individual did, and don't be afraid to question it. We really need to, we want to add on more, but let me explain what that means. We want to really look at what our gaps of services were, what we identified, what we've done to remove those gaps and start really tracking that. Did we, for example, like the 8109 access funds, is it meeting the gaps? Did we resolve those issues? And from a committee standpoint, really identify what your role is in that for like policy and budget, looking at the funding, is it really being used for what we identified, programs and services and outreach, if not, who we should connect to. So just to get that was my takeaways. I'm excited. I'm fired up. I'm ready to really look at things and get things going. And I didn't put this in here with the rest of the recommendations, but I'm definitely, going to ask as another item that can be sent out for you guys. We have a list of recommendations that come from previous caps, right? And kind of take a look and see if there's other items on there that we may want to work on, or that may be our vision. So that's my debrief when I left the retreat. I'm just excited to be working with you all and see what's going to come out of this year. So I'm a hush, and I'm going to use my left-hand side today, because you said it's a hot. So I'm going to go towards the left.
Let's see, my reflections on the retreat, it brought me greater clarity about how all the different groups within the county work. It also provided me with some clarity around the outreach committee and just some ideas on how to get in the community to get more people involved, whether that's them participating as a member or just attending the meetings. It was helpful to see how the past funds have been spent. So it just provided a lot of clarity for me for that. And now that you brought up, if there were other priorities, I am curious to see what those are and how they've changed, or maybe they've been the same as, people come in and out of the path and their goals. I would also be interested in past priorities.
And I'll add to that, our focus for it in Donald, we've really been focused on, I don't want to say the same priorities as if it's a bad thing, because those have been the priorities: housing, behavioral, employment. Those are like really the key factors that allow someone to get back into the community and don't go back to incarceration. And then we had a few of them that aligned with RJ, which they're not always that. But there are some other few on there that we haven't touched on, such as equity. So you'll notice a few things I'm thinking. A lot of you guys, like, again, come to this table with a lot of ideas and expertise that I think you may be interested of uplifting, and I want to kind of hear that from you. So I am going to ask that to be sent out. I'm meant to do that at our last meeting from the retreat, and I totally forgot. So I'm not in class. Yes.
So for me, just to reiterate what, Demetria said, it was a lot. And, going through it was a lot of information to take in, but I really liked the surveys that were at the back. The AB 109 summary of 23-24. I would like to see, that updated with the surveys that we did, and came in and see how the programs, if those programs are really working, for us, as all the CBOs are collaborating and making sure that the service navigators, the housing, of course, this person in employment, the types. So I just really like to see those numbers. And I thank you guys for taking the time on that Saturday, to discuss a lot of this. So I'm anxious to get started and see the referrals as well.
And that's some really good feedback, especially about the surveys, so programming services. Really looking at the survey, like you said. We have two, the one that always goes out to CBO, and then we have the one that now goes inside the facility. We kind of figuring out like how often you want to do it. Does the questions we ask still meet our objective and what we're looking at? So I want to really get you guys thinking when we're looking at that survey, and how often do we want to do it. So really understanding and really understanding what we've been doing in the past, and then hopefully identifying if that's what we want to continue. How about you, Alexandra?
Well, first, I would like to say that I am in a state of, I can say, sorrow, but disappointment, because I wasn't able to attend for long because of the funeral. And also, I want to point out that I have a lot of emotion on my face because we just attended this week a service for a young man who just left the juvenile hall, who's in the age range, which makes the work just even more important. So I'm kind of like, oh, all over the place. But I think that this was, and I want to thank you all for having me, even though I was late, able to catch the thread ball. It was fun. It was a great time, and I really wish I could stay. It was a beautiful place, and I just want to see more. And we're going to be doing more. So my reflection then, Lord. And being a member of OCEC, I had a lot of time to look through this. We put it together. I've read it several times. So I knew what was happening. But being there and being able to see it come to life and hear the presentation, it was also very clarifying for me. So seeing how CAB, and some of our goals are looking at the gaps in services. So hearing how CAB made a significant impact on the budget transparency and recommendations is very important, because there are some of us who don't play about money. I want to know where it's going, what's the line, this, and that. Like, okay, what's the dollar, and why it matters? Because there's plenty of places where money can be spent and it's not. Then we want to know why, right? So that's kind of our voice to ask that question. I've read through this before, and I'm really excited about the housing going forward because I just see a lot. So I appreciated that. I appreciated all the work that went into it, all the food, it was a wonderful space, perfect location, first we talked about reentry success, from the reentry success center. Um, I want to say, I found it as insightful as we have hoped it to. We planned for it to be informative, and for me it was, even though seeing it, it just really came to life, and and thankful and grateful to be a member and have a good hat on. Amen. The end. Yes.
And even though you left, your spirit was still there, so you're good.
Oh, yeah, well, this is my third retreat. And this one was the most exciting because we had a lot of new members that have their fingers in the pies that we're trying to work with. And I was really impressed with the youth. I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to go out the pasture. These people are bringing forth things that, that we need to understand. And they're in our community. And that's what really got to me is that 90% of the members here are in the community, working with the public that we're trying to help. And I felt really good about that. So all my other retreats were nice, but this one was the best one that I've been to so far.
Yeah, I've also been to three, and I think this is the best one. It was great to have a whole new group of people looking to carry the torch forward. You could feel the curiosity and the positive energy about how we want to impact change in this space, and got 2 new subcommittee members, which is a big win for policy and budget. So yeah, very excited.
This was my first retreat, but I found it very helpful. I'm excited about being on this board. The information that we received at the retreat was really great. Learning tidbits about the work that has been done in the past, such as the transparency with the budget. I was really excited about that. So I'm fired up and excited about what we're doing, and now I'm going to budget.
Yes.
First retreat, first day.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think I could have asked for a better first day because it outlined where we've been and where we're going as far as like what our plan is for the next year. So for me, it was exciting, already going into a vice chair position. First day. I feel like I'm hitting the ground running, but I'm amongst people that are, like as you said, so, I mean, it was rambling the community essentially, so.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, so I'm excited to do the work, and this was a great first day to provide all clarity and like trajectory.
Awesome. I do not want to miss, I know we don't have any here, but I did want to with any feedback that you want to give. Oh, man, feedback, we call you a whiteboard.
That was it. That was the highlight. It was a whiteboard and they were, for me to jump up and get to town and get to work. No, led these retreats now for quite some time, and it is good for them to transition back into a community space. At a time where it's going to be for everyone, we've gone from doing them virtually over the course of 2 days to in person here at this location. But it felt really good to kind of get you all to take a step away from the usual sort of routine when it comes to Cali and things like that. I felt that the location was really, I think, added to maybe the team building and the ability to receive and take in all the information, because it is always a lot. So I'm just appreciative. I know Tiffany isn't here, but I'm appreciative to the Reach Success that I'm available without and still be able to serve their participants.
Yeah.
So their participants were still able to come in and engage and with the typical services that they have available to them. So that's a great way for you all to kind of see things in action. So, and I just appreciate all of you, your thoughts, your questions, your
considerations, your lively, lovely personalities, especially in the morning. Yeah, it was great, it's all going. So, I don't really have anything to share in terms of what I wish could be done differently. But I always appreciate you all's feedback and input, especially on how the day should be, how it should flow, what sort of information should go first, last, or what have you. Always open to making adjustments. So,
I had one more comment too for Patrice. I don't know how you did it, but it seems like I saw you like a couple of times that week, and between the training we had and then that training, I just want to say thank you. You kept the momentum going, all that information, and then knowing like a couple of days prior, you had another training for us. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I don't know how to do things. A lot of coffee and tea. So I mean, this is a great conversation. So with that, to the OCEC members that are here at this table, I wanted to do that so you can hear that feedback, because close to the end of the year, we'll have to schedule 2026, right? And keep those in mind. Like, it was really great. This is my first time going to an offsite for the retreat, so I did definitely enjoy that. That's something that we want to continue to do. It's good weekends, really work out for people. And then for the rest of the committee, be open to give feedback to, within the full board, or share with Ariana, our committee, to give back to OCEC, so they can have that feedback. So I really want to hear from you all, especially majority of you guys are new. Justin, I and Brenda, we've been here before. So this was one of my favorite ones as well. They were all great, but I learned all over again. Like I said, it lit the fire under me. And I think it was majority of just because of everyone that was here and the energy that you all brought. Gave me excitement. So I just want to pin that there and just open it up for that discussion. So in saying that, we will now move into the next one on the board. So from that, at the very end, and this is the part that we did, Alexandria. So definitely add if you feel like you want to add more to it, because you want part of this conversation. But this is pretty much our goals that we discussed for 2025. So I want to talk about that and kind of go through it again. This allows us to ask questions for each one. If we still walked away with on 30 on what we're doing, if there's more that we want to add, take away, but I want to allow room to have that discussion, because it was right at the tail end. And for those that have not already done their readings, I'm gonna keep saying on purpose, because obviously the budget already had theirs. As you go into your next committee meeting, again, I want you to look at that work plan. I want you to question that work plan. Don't be afraid to ask any questions about what's there. If you think it should change, if y'all want to upload something new, wait for Justin to come back. But this is that outline. So I'll give us a second to look at it. And then we will start at the top and just open it up to kind of have a discussion in case you want to elaborate on the topic. We can start with our first priority is Ambassador Early Strategy and Calendar for OCEC. So you want to talk about it more? You want me to?
I can talk a little bit about it, and then we have been planning.
Okay.
What I recall from this priority was OCEC being charged with developing sort of a strategy and a calendar of when to start making our ambassador calls to our supervisors, as well as other partners in the community. And part of that strategy, we already reviewed the ambassador guide that has the talking points in it, but in reviewing it after our retreat, there were suggestions that previous chair had. Just reminding people around how to take notes that they're talking with other officials, so be mindful of that when submitting a report. And then taking Jill's feedback around the calendar in terms of maybe starting earlier for some of legislators. And having sort of a fallback around the community groups. So that's what I took away from that. I think we can review the administrative guides to make sure it's clear, I understand what the priorities are, and have a template for those staff members when we meet with folks in the community.
Yes, that's actually, that covered everything, and then the calendar will be shared amongst all of us, so we can see how we're discussing. No, that's not, yeah, you covered, there's nothing for me to add, you got it. So, yes, you did, good job. Yes, so, the only other piece that I had, and that's just me, like, I know that, you looked over the ambassador guide, you guys did a good job with that. The talking points, I believe, need to be adjusted, because the one that is in there was just lucky everyone access one. So what's an easier way to create like a template and then to leave for even unborn boards so that they just drop in whatever their priorities are, some kind of similar template that's not so written out that way, but they can just drop in those priorities and simplify them together. So something that we can not just use now, but we can have it there for whoever steps in eventually when we move out of our seats so that it's clear and written out. So any questions from any other committee members about the ambassador or what OCEC will be doing? Any feedback from other OCEC members yet? Any questions in the room? No? Okay. Any questions on Zoom? All right, so develop calendar across committees. That's me. Justin, I forgot what you wanted me to do. That's fine. I would be completely honest.
I just think a lot of the work that we do across different communities feed into each other. And so ensuring that when we're hosting these meetings with legislators, that information is available in time for us to make policy recommendations. And similar with the survey. I think last year, the survey went out later in the year, and so we can bump that up. So we have that in September or October. So it's like a bird's eye view of all of the inner workings. Happy to help anyway as well.
So what I'm gonna do is I'll create the calendar. I'm gonna always bring it back to you guys for insight.
Yeah.
So I will create a template and then bring it back to you guys and make sure you approve on what it looks like, my caption, whatever. Everything I do, I definitely want you guys insight. I don't want anything that we need, but I'm thinking. And then, one part of it is getting the share drive updated, so most likely put it in there for everyone to be a working document. But as we start doing things, adding dates in there so you guys can see it. So my first task is just start off by finding a template that we can all approve on. And then I'll bring that and share with you. So I'll definitely get on that. And that's a simple, it's a very simple one. There's not a lot that goes into that, but that's where I heard you, but I wanted to make sure I really did because I tapped out by the time you said it. And I wanted to ensure that I really took in what you guys wanted so I can create that and deliver it. So I'll try to have that at least done by our next meeting to be able to share or have Garyana send out that and get your feedback on that. Is there anything else that you guys may want outside of a calendar that you feel like you may need that can help you kind of know what each committee member is doing, or not committee member, but subcommittee and activities like that? All right, the next one is an update drive, which is CAB leaders and RJ. So RJ offered to do it, and I definitely wanted to.
You did?
You didn't let me finish. I didn't even let me finish. RJ offered to do it, but it was something that I've been wanting to do since I've been on CAB because it's just a hot mess. So I threw my name on there because I like the share drive. So for me, what I've been asking for, and if I'm giving y'all homework this time, I want to know what you want in there. Outside of the regular things of uploading like the agendas or uploading like, for example, the ambassador stuff, the things that we know of, What do you feel like is friend? What do you want? What would you like to see in there? I know it's outdated. I have to kind of go through and look what's missing, and then I will collaborate with RJ, so I don't take up too much. But I've always wanted to take a stab at it, and then I have all of Crawford's old information stored on my computer at home. So I wanted to be able to upload like all that awesome stuff he created, even if we don't use it, it may be helpful for a whole nother committee. I don't know, but I wanted to be able to at least put it on there for you all. So that's what I'm asking for you to do, please, is what are you guys outside of the standard that we know is gonna be on the drive? Is there anything else that you feel like would be helpful for you in that drive? You guys only have view access. I can upload, but RJ is the controller over the shared drive.
Yeah, and if I could just share the purpose of the drive, it was to have essentially like a repository for you all of reference documents that you can go back to. Most of what's in there currently, are documents that are publicly accessible online, what have you. These were like those final documents that got included into the cabbage and what have you. But there may be, I know at times, like for example, I think when we were doing the planning process for the one time, if specific chairs need like the Word versions, because usually it's PDF versions that are in there. We just tried to, because so here's the thing, we were limiting access to a degree because we certainly wouldn't want folks to go haywire and mess up, you know, what are in fact the final versions of a lot of these documents. But there are instances where you probably need an editable, that's a word, version of something so that you can make a whether it's PowerPoints or memo documents, things of that nature. So just and we can certainly just create a separate folder in that drive for drafts where we have them Word versions of things like that. So we can play around with the structure and the format, but just so you know, the starting place, that's how that drive was constructed. So happy to hear what else you want.
I think adding a draft folder was great because, for example, a policy and budget, there were real-time items that had deadlines, and it was nice to be able to, because we can't talk, so nice to be able to work on things and be able to see what we're doing. So depending on what the committees have on their plate, to be able to have that available for each committee, if they have working documents that need to be completed, I think it was really nice to have that option on the shared one. So what we did at policy and budget is we had a lot of stuff to complete, me and Justin. So we were able to, we couldn't talk to each other, but we had a live working document where I can see what he was adding, he can see what I was adding. We couldn't comment with each other. It was because it's restricted in the around that. But he was able to work on what was assigned to him, and we were able to get things done in a faster manner. So it's really nice. It was really nice to have that option to be able to work with each other. So that may be something to do. If you think of anything after this meeting, of course, let Gariana and them know. I'm usually copying on that. Well, y'all can talk to me now. Share. Let me know. And I'll definitely add it to my list. But again, the first thing I'm going to do for myself is review it, and then I'll discuss with RJ, because sometimes I can overthink things, and just making sure that, looking at what we have in there, what I may want to upload that I have from our previous boards. And I think that drive would be a good start.
Do you keep track of all of the events that you attend, we attend?
No, if it's like what, just a reference to
Like
representing.
how you're representing CAC, so like you're going on March 7th to Sacramento.
No, that was a
CAC
new
to
one.
Something. We just did, Demetria just went and did a presentation. With that sounds like something that could be added to the drive to me, so that it could be, I could show up also in a retreat. We went here.
Okay.
This is what we did, blah, 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 the year.
Should we also have a calendar for that? What I can be included on the calendar?
That's
I can be included on the calendar, okay. So an event folder to upload any events that we have on the calendar also include that in there too. Tagging on to what she just said, we actually just started going out last year. So, one of the things that we also wanted to ask, if possible, was to have, how do we direct everyone to either reach out to Garyana or have a CAB invite email address, so when they want to invite us to come do a presentation or table, they usually pick who they want to notify. And then we have to forward it to Garyana to be able to figure it out, so there, maybe there's a, how do we direct them to Garyana if she's going to be in charge? Like, all the stuff should go to her first, or create an inbox for that.
So we actually now have a new email group for admin purposes. So we can get that out in some fashion to whoever. So I guess I don't know who comes to you guys.
Well, no, like, for example.
But how to get it out more broadly, I mean, we certainly put it up on our website, and then they can utilize that email address to submit requests for CAD.
It's updated also on our flyer when we do our presentation, so that it'll eventually get uploaded. And if someone comes to us, we can direct them to that email. It's usually providers or, right now it's providers. Hopefully it will expand, but they may want us to come to a presentation or do a table to talk about that.
Okay, so just to clarify on the email address request, so you're saying to have an admin assistant? And
It would just be the request will come to ORJ.
right, but is there a way, or is it possible for us to have our own emails, or just even outside of this, like maybe working with the other counties and they want to send some information over to this tab? Or, I don't know, maybe someone wants to send a referral out to someone in order to get in contact with us. Is there a way, is it possible for us to have an email?
So an email account where then you all are managing the email account?
Around. I guess it'll fall either the chair or the.
They just are good and good practice.
Yeah.
Well, they can email and we'll just refer it.
Right.
We
Forward it over to.
forward it to the respective chairs.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's what we do now. Garyana's pretty good at that. If someone reaches out to RJ, she to parties that needs to go, so.
Well, I was just looking at, like, for example, this article,
Yes,
it has information about CAB, but it says, like,
I mean, it is.
all this long website at the end, apply online and here's that, instead of just having like, oh,
Like a contact
information.
info. Yeah.
Say that again, what you said.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
No, I was saying like this article is really great, right? And so if someone wanted more information about CAB, there's no real way to get in contact.
Right.
So it's nice to have a way.
But I was just saying that, if it still sits with ORJ, then we can make it an agenda item with a report out. to the communication. Like
Okay.
this month, we received so many requests for presentations or requests for whatever it may be. And it could just be an agenda item, so that way everybody's on the same page and everybody else is going to have to handle it.
Look at that. See, I told you, great idea at the table. How does that sound, RJ?
We can do it.
All right.
And I would also say, likewise, if you still have folks that are emailing you directly, and you would want us to kind of keep a tally on those things, then certainly send it our way, so that way. Otherwise, like I said, I don't know how you all get, because you're involved in the community in many different aspects, and you just happen to talk about CAB, and all of a sudden you get a, hey, let's connect on that, and you go on about your thing. So I would say at least if it leads to something of a request for CAB as a buy, right? Like presentations or things of that nature, or an event is happening. Those kind of things.
So, also, you're invited, we have a resource event with the coming up in April, so we would send that to RJ.
Yeah, to have CAB table, yeah, let us know. We do have, we provide flyers and, a tablecloth.
Yeah, OCEC is supposed to get together and decide what we need, so we can actually do some measures.
So now we're getting expensive.
Yes, that's my favorite.
All we can do is throw it out there and see what
I
happens.
mean, keep in mind, you technically have a budget, money is small,
Right.
but you still utilize that toward your efforts.
Yes. All right, so I have those, notes, good conversations. So the next one is, this is a, programs and services item, and Tiffany's not here right now, but develop process for site visits. So, their next, at their meeting is to look at the current process, and expand it, see, what do we want to do? Is it working? Do we want to change it? And how do we want to do it? Right now, the site visit says we are CBO. And what initially is supposed to be is, you're going to go just see their site and learn. RJ already knew what because these are individuals getting funding. So they go out and already, do the process of evaluating. We're not evaluating. We're just going out to learn and see and meet them. A lot of us don't know who they are. So is that the path that we want to take for the majority of y'all here are already aware of them. So, what is our goal? That's something that you guys are going to be looking at after next. That's a habit of mine. I don't want to say you guys and women. So you got these. Program and service, and I'll go back to the guy over there.
So we will visit that on the 20th.
Yes. Yes. Policy and budget, has already met, and I've heard good things. So, your items on here, do you want to give a update, Justin? Because I know you've already.
Sure. Well, we can just keep going down the list, but for the monitoring of one-time allocation of funds, we're gonna be inviting different departments into policy and budget to give us an update of where they're at with spending. Some of the allocations are multi-year, so those funding distributions might be delayed a little bit. So we'll bring that information back to the board, as well as ORJ has offered to collaborate on some of the RFPs that they will be rolling out over the next several months. So we'll bring that information back to the board.
And I would also like to add programs and services on that from their perspective, because their responsibility is to evaluate the program. So policy and budget, we'll be looking at the money aspect of it, but you want to also look at the purpose and reason. Those are actually two parts. So we can adjust that and add policy and budget and programs and services. And that should be an item, I believe, since we added to the agenda that you all should be talking about at the meeting. The next one is the next one is prioritize external meetings and community outreach and materials, and that is OCEC. So
Yeah, so we talked about, maybe having a political table for when we're invited to community events, name badges, other materials like flyers and things that we would need for outreach, and then prioritizing kind of how do we get out there to do external meetings? And that might be something that goes in collaboration with our ambassador guide. Do we send, and this is something for us to talk about as we plan, but when we talk about prioritize external meetings, are we reaching out to folks? When people reach into us, how are we prioritizing? Working or prioritize going out into the community. So that's something we'll be talking about this year with the OCs, and just kind of thinking through how do we get our name out there? So they don't with us.
next one, back to policy and budget, county department budget analysis.
Yeah, so I think we were really inspired by Patrice's narrative at the retreat around CAB's initiative to create transparency around budget spending within each of the county's departments. So our committee is gonna go back to look at that a little bit more and see how those practices have actually been implemented. And is there enough detail? Do we need to ask for more detail? And really come from a place, we use the word curiosity a lot this week, to really understand where different departments are at with their spending, and if it's appropriate and aligned with what we continue to recommend for CCP. So really excited about that work. I don't think it will all get accomplished this year. I think it's a really tall ask, but I think we can lay the groundwork for some really impactful analysis of it.
I'm really excited for the feedback you all may bring back because of just your expertise in our budget and as well as Tracy. And always got these amazing questions that she sees to figure out. Because it's something that I know just with me being on CAB and previous CAB members, we wanted to get to that point. And so I'm really excited to see what foreign policy and budget and what it's going to bring back. So, programs and services. The next one was follow up on program response to disability. So, Tiffany brought back up a great item around disabilities and what that looks like from a program perspective. And I believe, not I believe, other practical retreats also had back some good information after the retreat. So that was a good discussion on what their goal is with that, especially when we're looking at our programs, what the requirements are for our programs and our contracts. So to have that. I think it came from that discussion, but I know at the next meeting, Tiffany wants to get what you can.
And I would like to add to that too, or get a question answered. Do you really want to pay attention to like here in the CAB book, the ADA compliances?
So that's what started the conversation.
Right, right.
But I believe what came from that, what is the requirements like for the program, for the in the contract. And so it was tabled to the next meeting, and I don't want to misquote the questions that Tiffany had, but that was part of it. And I believe she has some other questions in reference to that. So, but it was part of one of your items on your work.
Okay, I'll make sure we go over these things again on the 20th. I do want to also comment that it does come underneath our CARP accreditation, that some sites, they have CARP accreditation, and that was one thing that that is a must, like that ADA.
Okay.
Regulation to it. So I know under certain programs in the offices under CARP that ADA does play part in the requirement.
I mean, that's good, and if it's part of it, then we may want to look and see what which one is happening. Let's see, policy and budget, mapping progress on recommendations.
Yeah, so similar to like the budget analysis, what we want to do is look at the previous few years of recommendations that came from this body and understand how many have been implemented and which ones that if they have not been implemented, if they're still a priority and if we can carry that work forward. I think this is a really great opportunity to build off of the previous work of other CAB members and really re-lift up ideas that have already been generated that may have not gone all the way through to implementation. So excited about this work.
And I definitely agree with that, because at the beginning, that's exactly what I want you all to do. And so although policy and budget have it there, I would like to be able to add that, basic programs and services also do the same thing. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, I'm going to ask for the recommendations to be sent out to all of you, so that you can kind of look at the work or the recommendations for the past years, even before I got here. A lot of these recommendations came a part of this before I was even a part of that. So really going way back to looking at, you'll be able to see the change over the years and the idea. And if we completed those, we should go back and check off what we've done. Is it still warranted now? Do we want to adjust? So I think that is an important factor that we should keep in mind. And then the last one is updating service grid. So earlier, and I don't think you were part of that, but it ties into what I mentioned at the retreat. So we currently have our service grid for our CBOs, which is was completed by RJ, thank you. And as I mentioned for the, not retreat, the summit, they're asking for a copy of our programs, and we do have our service grid. And questioning on if we want to add county programs such as like continuum care, behavioral health, and things of that nature. But the service grid is completed. We may need to adjust it. The new RFPs are coming up for this year, so programs and providers are ensuring that our grid stays current. So that will be the responsibility of programs and services, and as a chair, I will assist them with that. So for the upcoming summit, I'll work with them to get that adjusted if needed. And I believe you all seen it. You recall what I'm referring to? Okay, anybody here don't? Yeah, so no, so the grid is just an outline of all the CPOs and the services that you provide. So it has a list of your names, and because a lot of you all provide services that you're funded for, and then you have additional services in-house that folks may not know of. So it was, we just finally have a place where you just see everything, right? So I'll look at it again and see if there's any adjustments, and maybe what we can do is share it out. If you are a program provider, if there's something on there missing, please let us know so that we can add it. I keep thinking you want to add something because
No, I'm just thinking.
okay. Have mom's spidey senses. Okay. If you haven't seen it, I know, again, I know it's not part of your agenda for programs and services, but Kimmy, can we ask that Gary ought to send it out so that the committee can have it? That way, if there's something that you want to, because I will need to look at it, go over this with you all, because I do need to get it out for the summer in case there are some adjustments that need to be made, and then I can work with RJ. Because it's in PDF, so I can't change it to get it changed.
We can send you a word.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I'll take the word version. So that is our priorities that we have. So I did want to ask, before we go around, Alexandra, seeing what we left with, you weren't there for a discussion. Is there any things you want to uplift that we may not have covered?
Thank you. And I'll say I'm very passionate about the one that came out of OCEC. Part of it. But no, I think these are an excellent start as far as our priorities, as far as building a foundation going forward. I appreciate the going back to go forward. That's very. Sankofa thing to do. That's a great value to go backwards before you go forward. I had to say that it's like History Month. Anyways, yes, I agree. Okay. No extra priorities from.
Awesome. Okay. So, is there any other discussion around the table before we move on? We're good to go on our priorities. So again, I charge you all when you go back to your committees, please think outside the box. Please do not be afraid to pull that work plan apart, come up with ideas, question it, see if it's still valid to what our goals and our visions are now. And don't be afraid to change. I'm continue to say that because I know when I started in CAB, I didn't think, not because it would make me feel like that, but I didn't think I could change. I thought it was just stuck that way. And I really want to get all of your ideas moving so that we can bring in new creative ideas and really achieve a lot this year. So don't be afraid to ask why is that there. If you need more information to understand the thinking of the previous committee, if you don't ask, we don't want to give it to you. So I will be asking that when you do your report outs, we don't have to include the whole work plan in the full agenda or what to, but just give an update on where your work plans are. That was something that we were supposed to do every meeting. That's part of our agenda is really when we go around with those report outs, just give me an update on where are we with our key items. So I don't want to go back to the old focus of, yes, I know you did report out. You may look at your agenda and copy and paste, but please put some more work. Report out. I myself, I'm looking for an update on what you have done. Where are you? If there's any issues you run into, if there's something that you need the feedback from the full board, bring that to the table. So that's my feedback to you all. Okay. Any questions in the room? Seeing none. Any questions on Zoom? Nope. All right. So we're gonna now go to our discussion report outs from CAT subcommittee and external meetings. You have an attachment?
No, I don't think.
I don't, I'm like, I don't see.
Received it.
Okay.
I'm happy to give it. That's why I'm the board of supervisors. as well.
Yes, please.
January 14th, the board of supervisors reorganized. Candace is the new chair. New committee assignments were given and approved, and they swore in the new supervisor, Chanel. So she's up and running. January 21st, they received the sheriff's oversight report. And February 4th, on the board of supervisors agenda was the sheriff's inmate welfare fund. It's that yearly, so it's spreadsheet. And then the first public protection meeting of the year will be on Tuesday, February 18th at 1 p.m. It's a day later than normal. And there's no.
I will give an update from the Council of Homeless. So I did participate in the pick count to 0 to 30. I will tell you this, they took a lot of feedback from recommendations of last year. It was a lot better. I was even graduated to be a quarter member. But they did take, I do encourage if you haven't had a chance to do it, if you want to, know what that seems like, I definitely encourage you to, yes, you can get up early. But the tracking, a lot of feedback last year, a lot of questions were, was the information valid? How do you track? A lot of places that we went to, you couldn't access. Well, this year was different. It's like a good and bad feeling where you don't want to see anybody outside, but you want to see people so you can make sure they get services. So it was nice. And then they put people together that may not have known each other to be able to build those relationships. So the outcome was really great. There are going to be some platforms that are coming up that are going to be built. One from the equity committee to show information about programs and reference to discrimination, not discrimination, demographics and information for those that are enrolled to make sure that programs are equitable. That is in the process. And there are a few new housing programs that have been created. Print screen for you guys. It didn't come out. I apologize. There's a pilot program out right now. Interim housing, and I'm very excited about that because that was one of our key priorities that we had. So they now have a pilot program where they're trying it out with the housing continuum of East Bay. So I really want to see the outcome from that. And then also I was nominated as chair.
Can I expound on it?
Yes.
On the equity issue that she's talking about, there's been an equity committee that has been working for a very long time, and it's known that the VI SPDAT, which is the assessment that brings people into our homelessness, our care, COCs, and does the assessment. It's known. Everybody who uses it knows it's not technical. It misses a lot. And so rather than try and continue that, they're actually going to build their own platform by taking best pieces of all sorts of other platforms out there that do the assessment. So they're building their own so that they can address those equity issues. That's huge. And then there was the pit count, point time count that Nicole participated in. There'll be preliminary numbers that come out with sort of an overview in the spring with a full report coming out late spring. So, and that's always super interesting because it shows like where our homeless counts are shifting and age populations. It goes into a really deep dive. That's and then the interim housing is an interesting program. And what it does is those people have been in the shelter, they're stabilized, and they're just awaiting a permanent supportive housing unit to be ready. It transitions them into that program. These are not the people who have high needs. They're not the people who need those intensive rep services. It's for those people who are stabilized and ready to move into their next phase. And they're still wrapped with services, but it's a different level. And so it gives them that opportunity out of the shelter and opens up the shelter for those people who really need to be there to get state license. It's sort of how it is expanding capacity.
So it's located in Concord at a motel site. I found my things. 38 households, so 38 rooms, and CalAM services will be available for it as well. And Jill touched on,
And the important part of that is those are not permanent. So
Correct.
those will rotate through.
Correct.
So as soon as their units are ready, which quite a few of those units have been ready and they're moving in, those interim housing slots will be open to the next group.
I was wondering, do we want to, as CAB members, participate in it? I know I participated in it the last 2 years myself. You do get up at dark 30, but that was for the program that I worked for. I just want to know.
Yeah, it's over, it's done.
Yeah, I'm
So
saying
for
for
next
next
year.
year.
I mean, that was something that we uplifted, in CAB before, and I've always notified you guys already, you get notification, so I do recommend it. We've always had a CAB member there, me and Oz did it last year, that's actually when we started participating this year, I did it along. So I definitely will uplift if anybody is interested, please do not focus on the 5 a.m. anymore, I know it's early. But it was worth it to be able to help individuals. One thing I did uplift, to, council opponents that I experienced was when it started, the sun started coming down, folks were really looking for us to give them items. So it'd be nice to have some kind of care packet if we can to hand out for those that are doing the core work. A lot of, so there's two types of individuals. There's one that just writes around the car and kind of look from as you drive, you have one driver, and then you have one that's actually making notes. And then you have some that are assigned to be like core members that actually get out for the most hardest places and they actually go where those individuals are. So when they see them, and I just wish I could have handled something that was longer or whatever the case may be.
So when we put this on the calendar, when the next pick kind of be, we'll have some time beforehand to prepare some bags or some care package.
No, I don't think it works like that.
Oh.
It's not CAB doing it, right? It's the county, so we want to be.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure if you'd like to recommend to be able to do that, I can bring that back to the next council of bonus meeting. Are you all afraid that you guys would like to put that together?
Yes, I am.
Or is that an individual thing that you would like to do just for yourself?
It is an individual thing that I would like to do
But
and
I would help.
others.
Yeah, I would
And
help.
probably trying to
I would
get
volunteer.
as an OCEC
Okay.
member, my opportunity also being with the church or the faith base, like
Okay.
bring in a church group who wants to also maybe come for a volunteer.
So I think, where would that fall? I mean,
I
definitely,
don't know.
huh? Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, it sounds like it might be something for OC.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bring it
But regardless if I'm, regardless of being the chair, I always like to bring back information from the council opponents, and I'll make sure that I'll, bring back anything that's taking place and share it with you all. Also, in saying that, pin that as well, we decide on who's going to be going to what outside groups, different committees and things of that nature. So that's something that we may want to add to the next agenda because we have not talked about that for outside committee meetings. Figure out which ones you guys are already attending, what you're already involved in, and then what's available out there that you do want to go to be able to bring back to CAB that you think is important. Update, I used to give updates on alcohol and other drugs that right now, I know that the application that went out, there is no longer just alcohol and drugs anymore. It's going to be a behavioral health commissioner board. I'm not sure where it sits right now, but I know the applications have been approved.
So it's behavioral health board now, and it's been listed up in the deadline for application if you're interested in it. They don't know it's February 28th. And we're particularly looking for you, under 25. So we're looking for a new cover, so we've been pushing that out to our communities and our school districts. That have the different seats. There's veteran seat, there's a variety of seats to rent, the other one.
No, mostly the
Education, and then being the Q and the commission coming, so we've been receiving applications.
and others. We're interested in serving on that, and it with Prop 1 eliminated our mental health commission and our alcohol and other drugs advisory board and lifted up as the behavioral health board, which covers both. So
The 28th, is that,
February 28th is the deadline for application for the behavioral health division. So
you know, where they do that?
nothing yet, because it hadn't met yet. It was just developed. It had to be done by January 1st, so they put the board together and it hasn't met yet. It's not. So it will be decided as it comes together.
So what's exciting is with this new board, they're gonna be responsible for actually doing everything. Fine tuning, setting the bylaws, everything. I mean, that's really exciting to be able to see that part. So if you're interested, definitely apply. I also, what I left out with the council form is they now have what we call a GAP, which is a young youth advisory board, which I'm really excited about, is getting opinions from our young adults. And I'm part of their core and strategic planning team, so I'll bring information back. If any of you guys work, any of you. Sorry, I'll just fall into stuff. But I'll definitely bring information back, because I'm representing from this seat here and as well as the Council of Homeless, but from a justice impacted seat. The goal is to uplift any type of services that we may see gaps in or that we believe are beneficial for our youth. And GAB is focused on the homeless for our youth. So I participated in quite a few things. I love seeing the youth at the table. They've actually also participated in the housing RFP. So I know that I've heard that there's some of them on the board. So to be able to see young adults actually that are interested in advocacy and in this work actually give their opinion and share is amazing. One thing I took away as an adult is they want to help us understand what they need. Because a lot of us in our generation, kids didn't have an opinion, and your thought, where did you get that from? Right. So they really want us to understand that they do have an opinion, that they are an adult, and that they want to learn from us, but they can't because we don't allow them to. So that hit home for me as being a mom. So I'll definitely uplift that here because I know that and it's up to you guys, but I know that one of our previous chairs, one thing that she wanted to do from a college standpoint was how do we get someone from a young adult on our board, because we don't have that voice here. So I don't want to lose that in this space. And I know there's a lot of conversation in the county of how do we get more postal lived experience, how do we get them more training and understanding on how to be on committees like this, because they're not seeing people of color or they're not seeing black and brown people on the committee, and how do you get that out there and youth? So in different spaces, I'm continuing seeing that being uplifted. So I just wanted to place this here to get your thoughts running and open to your feedback on that. Any other internal?
Yeah, the Racial Justice Oversight Body, which some of you may be familiar with, did bring on board of supervisors approved a new slate of community-based representatives to also include a few folks for the newly created alternate universities. And there's also one behavioral health seat that's new as well. Not all of the alternate universities are filled. So if any of you are potentially interested in that work or at the very least will attend some future meetings, I encourage you to do so. I believe they're scheduling for retreats.
February 27th,
February.
1 p.m. in Richmond.
There you go. So ORJ is no longer staffing that body. It's now transitioned to the Office of Racial Equity and Social Justice. So if you haven't yet had an opportunity to interact with the co-directors there, they're hiring staff over there as well. This will be a good opportunity to engage in some of the work that's happening on that front.
And their focus this year is going to be diverted.
There's one more thing. CCP will be scheduled for this time. It's going to be on Monday. Monday, March. Just got it. 24th at 1 o'clock. I believe CAO's office is going to be putting together a calendar invite for the public, so I'll make sure that gets on your calendar. Location apparently is to be determined, but hopefully we'll get more information on that. go ahead and mark the calendars for that. And the only other thing I want to share is obviously some of you may have seen, we have already released, this doesn't have to do with, can I share announcements?
Yes.
We've released solicitations for the new 3-year contract cycle of our AB 109 community programs. The deadlines for those will be March 7th and March 14th. So those of you who had an opportunity to go through the procurement training that we hosted, certainly be reaching out to any of you to sit on future review panels. We're looking to conduct the evaluation of proposals sometime between March 19th and March 28th, between March 19th and 28th. So if any of you are interested, I'll probably send out notification to Catherine. So this is for civil legal aid services, our 2 reentry service hubs, housing, employment, family reunification, peer mentoring for West County. I think I covered them all. This round does not consider the new pilots, which are the one-time 15 million solicitations that we'll have to roll out. We'll be doing one for gender responsive services, peer support and transportation services. Just know another batch is coming. And that's likely going to happen later in April. So as Justin referenced earlier, we want to engage CAB sooner than later in terms of the development of those solicitations. Ensure we capture your feedback and input on the types of service components you like. And I think that's it for now. Oh, we have you all met the team?
Yeah.
We have a new research evaluation manager. Yes, James Davison is with us. So we are almost a full squad. We have one more vacancy, which we hope to fill via program program coordinator position that will likely help us out with some of the juvenile and tape work that we have. So looking forward to it, and then we'll be rock and roll. Also, if I can, still want to uplift it. Going back to the retreat, a lot of the materials you have in there. Huge shout out to Garyana. And she's done an awesome job pulling together those resources. All of the data related work, right, comes from the data team. So Kimmy is really instrumental in the data summary that she put together. Guys, the survey results and the report that is compiled that comes from our team. So certainly in the background, we have different folks that are touching different elements of the work. So certainly one of the
Thank you so much.
That's it. I'm done. Sorry.
Okay. Yes.
What was the February 27th, the diversion?
This is the racial justice oversight body. They'll be having their board retreat at 1 o'clock. Board retreat.
There is a new board now because of that for quite a while. And so there used to be 7 committees, but this year they're going to focus on diversion.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. All right, number 7. The next one is that's all the items. So our next meeting is currently scheduled for Thursday, March 17th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Anything before we adjourn that we have not discussed today? Do we want to add? No? So we are done at 11:30. I will go ahead and adjourn to our next meeting on March 13th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.